Gracious Heavenly Father, Lord God, we thank you so much for this glorious day. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for the opportunity to come together in this meeting, dear Lord. And we pray that you'd be with us. We thank you, Heavenly Father, for your Son, our Lord and Savior, who sacrificed his life for our sins on Calvary's cross. We pray you'd be with us now. Lead us and guide us in our meeting. These things I ask in Jesus' precious name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This is my birthday check. Right. All right, let's get this going.
There's the minutes.
Okay. Need to approve minutes from last meeting.
Make that motion.
I'll second it since he wasn't here the last meeting.
So second it, but
Well,
that sounds good to me. Kenny, are you ready for a consensus? All in favor?
Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Need the claims.
Okay.
Motion to approve it.
I'll make that motion. I'll second. There, sir.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Now we need to acknowledge the treasurer and clerk's report. So they're acknowledged.
That's got that.
Okay, any department reports?
Just my report for the health department.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's been a while since I've been here, so I wanted her to go first so I can remember how to do it. And she just submitted the report, so I'm gonna go into the bus. You guys, our jail population for August. We had an average of 85 males and 15 females. The daily average is about 100. We did take 10 people off to DOC, Department of Corrections, so our numbers did go down a little bit, but I know the people are working on filling it back up. Work release, our average is about 18 males and 5 females for a daily average of 23. I think this is now going to be my new thing, is giving the staff update and where I'm at as far as staffing.
Right now, we have 2 open deputy spots out of 19. By the end of the month, we will have 2. One guy's did a transfer from my department to school resource officer. So we do have merit board interviews on September the 19th. We've already done the background investigation, all the testing. And we have 3 really good people that are applying for those 2 jobs. We have 4 open dispatcher spots out of 9. We were gonna have 5 out of 9, but we just hired somebody and she's on day 2. We have open applications and we are actively interviewing. George and I actually had an interview tonight at 3:20, and we have another one set tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So if you would like to be a dispatcher, please come out. We need people really, really bad. It's critical. We have 5 open correction spots out of 21. We have open applications on those, with no ending date until we fill the positions. They did let me know that there's testing on September the 16th for corrections officers. And we have 1 open facility officer spot in community corrections, and we have open applications for that. In August, we wrote 48 tickets and we had 3 written warnings. I'm sure there was a lot of verbal warnings given as well, but I don't have documentation of that. We had 54 property accidents in Gibson County that Gibson County worked as primary officer. We had 14 personal injury accidents that Gibson County worked. And that gives us a total of about 68 altogether. And then 68 accidents that involved 110 different vehicles. You look at the roads, most of the accidents happened on county roads, 35 on county roads. US 41 had 13 and State Road 64 had 8. Speaking of tickets and speaking of accidents, September the 1st, I know it should be on next month's thing, but I'm gonna do it. September 1st, we had a traffic blitz from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. where we specifically focused on stoplights and people running. And from Members True Value down to 350 South, which is Enon Church, we had deputies at each of those stoplights. And if you ran the light, you got stops. We conducted 22 traffic stops in that 4-mile stretch of roadway over 4 hours. We wrote 13 citations for disregarding a traffic signal. 1 was written for disregarding a traffic stop sign, because in addition to running the stoplight, he actually went and ran stop signs. The officer's like, well, I'll give you one or the other. 1 citation was for speeding. That was by me. Just proves that a blind squirrel can find a nut every once in a while. And there was also multiple warnings that were distributed there. So we felt pretty good about it. Got everybody's attention. Before everybody freaks out and says, oh my gosh, I can't believe you stopped the citizens of Gibson County. Out of those 22 stops, 1 person was from Gibson County. And he's the one that ran the stoplight and the stop sign.
Good area.
Yeah. It was. But we had 89 arrests that Gibson County Sheriff's Office did in August. 30 of those were warrants that we served. We had we pulled 60 new cases at the Sheriff's Office. 12 of those cases were for drugs. 12 of them were thefts. So lock your stuff up, get your cameras out, and let's get that down. We're out there looking for them. We're patrolling. 6 drug cases, 9 different batteries where they go from simple battery all the way up to felony battery. We had 9 battery cases and 5 death investigations in August. The 911 calls, we had 1,522 911 calls in August. I do not know how many 911 hangups there were. About 90% of those, or 1,369 of the 911 calls, were from cell phones. What I find remarkable is 1,500 of our 1,522 911 calls were answered within 10 seconds. And our tech guru, Chris Isabel, had 112 help desk tickets. Do you guys have any questions?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce.
Good evening, everybody. For the extension office reports, we wrapped up the summer this month with ending the state fair. All of our educators worked up at the state fair for at least one event, and we had several projects from the Gibson County Fair that were featured at the state fair. We're super proud of our kids and the hard work that they've done there. On the porch side of things, we will be having an achievement program and a family fun day before the start of enrollment in October. So we're looking forward to getting this year wrapped up and the next year started for porch programs. Currently in the ag world, working on, I've got a master gardener class going right now, so those people will do 40 hours of intensive home horticulture training and be master gardeners at the end of that. Had a couple field days and I'm planning little workshops. And then on the human sciences side, we've got a really great program that provides produce for free to people in certain parts of the community, and those are local produce bags that are always handed out. She hands them out on Mondays, and she's also doing a matter of balance training, the fall risk class for people who may need it. Along with that, I am on the agenda later on. I didn't know if I could go ahead and do that. Request.
Sure, I think so.
So our office has not had a credit card or debit card in any fashion. Several other departments have them, and we found that it would make it a lot easier to purchase some supplies that we're needing. We have a card, rather than doing reimbursements for staff. Just gets messy that way.
How's that work? Do you get like a max or, with? How's
It's
that
a
work?
$2,500 max.
2,500.
I mean, we can set up whatever we want, but the standard is 2,500. That's what I set them on.
Very good.
So like order things. That's online.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second that motion. On favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye. Thanks, Abby.
I will get that ordered for you and it'll probably take about 2 weeks.
Need one too.
Thank you.
You already have one.
But our hiring.
Come on, Sharon.
Sharon Murray for that. Just a couple of quick updates. First of all, good evening, gentlemen. Vehicles, we finally have both vehicles. The money's all been taken out of ARPA. We've covered everything other than a small smidgenly amount. So we're really excited to have our first brand new vehicle ever and an almost brand new vehicle. And they're working out great because they're both enclosed. They're designed to haul animals and supplies. So it's really a good thing. It's a step up. As far as the building, we're getting closer and closer to our final design. We're still looking at in the spring for groundbreaking.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we're really excited about that.
Good.
And we're shortly applying for big grants when we finally get the cost per square foot. As an update at the shelter, just like everywhere else around the country, we are literally overbursting at the seams. We have 16 kennels for dogs and we want about 25 dogs, but our self-imposed policy is we're no kill. So we're doubling, quadrupling up, trying to find fosters. So again, reach out to the community if anyone wants to foster just for a short term, that piece of space in the shelter and we're not on top of each other. So we have about 25 dogs for 16 kennels, and then we probably have 40 to 50 cats at any particular time. And then finally, we've got a fundraiser. The Hot Stop Volunteer Fire Department every year does a family movie night down at their fire department. Project, it's usually a Disney animated movie up on the side. It's free to anyone who wants to come. They just ask that you bring a donation for the shelter, either a supplies or cash donation. And then we'll have a few animals there and hopefully they'll get mom and dad's. Shelter. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And we appreciate all you're doing to manage all those animals like you are. Just, this is one of many departments in our county. It's doing some amazing work. So thank you for all you guys are doing. Very proud. Thank you.
I have a question I'd like to ask. I'd like to know how many of our commissioners are in favor of privatizing the EMS. I'd like to see you raise a hand. If you want to, you're not in favor of it, how about you?
Never.
That's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
That will just cause problems.
Yeah.
All right, any more departments? All right, George, I guess you're up. Been first. Look, you're supposed to be in first right there.
Yeah, well, hey, that's okay. I'm calling the sheriff, that's hard to do. Let's talk about the job that's going on, last Friday, for the first part of the foundation footings for the, actually what's called Site B, which actually is the jail pod, which this one it says is the jail. So, right now, they're going to do another for tomorrow, depending on the weather, of course. All the steel studs in the what called Site A, which is the office part, those are all up. And we're also working with Garmon on the kitchen and the medical department. I'm meeting with Dr. Emerson today about what kind of equipment we're gonna put in that. So it's moving on, probably in about 5 to 6 weeks, there will be built the jail. That's the plan. So, first week October, roughly in that period of time. And they're still planning on having everything on the roof by December, end of December. Doesn't mean we're open, but at least it'll be under the roof and they can start doing all the interior stuff. But yeah, it's moving along, it's going to speed up. You go to gibsoncountysheriff.com website and you can watch the jail construction camera. See it during the day, you can watch it. It's a good thing, and I get a lot of comments, actually, our architect, RQAW out of Indianapolis, they watch it every day. So it's worked out pretty good for them. Anything else? All right, guys.
Right, George.
Thank you.
And George, I had a chance to review all the concrete floors, up to date or currently, and they've all come back and look really good. I even had one of my nephews who's an engineer look over them and he was like, this is really good work. All the numbers look good. So just want to say thank you for all the work. I think we've got the right team here with Garmong and
Yeah, they're doing a good job and, they've,
hoping for continued progress.
got the jail and they're getting ready to help. They're going to build the jail in Park County. They've not really, not all the jails, except for just a few. Got a lot of good experience.
And I also like the savings that we're bringing to the taxpayers too, at the end of the day. I think this is a substantial improvement from the previously proposed jail. And we're gonna bring this in at a pretty good dollar sign that we think our tax will take care of. And also address the federal lawsuit. So I think that's a double incentive, really, a double plus here, if you will.
Well, I
So
know the sheriff has to send in a report every month. And we send in one on the jail construction every 3 months. And so far, all of our reports have gone very well with the federal court and the ACLU that represents the plaintiff on that lawsuit. So we've not had anything bad come back. So things going along pretty good.
very good.
All right, now we'll go with the 3I design for architectural engineering work on prosecutor's office. Sure.
It was 3I presented to us the proposal for full design and detailed design and construction administrative services for the renovation of this building, the relocation of my office and child services. And I'm asking that you approve that. As we've met, we've had very frank discussions. Time is of the essence with regard to this issue. And the sooner we can get moving, the better off I think everyone will be. So I think this is the most significant step we could take up to this point. Have that done, so.
Hey, we need to make a motion.
I so moved. Second.
On favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
All right, Nathan, you're up next.
In your packet here, there's 4 different clippings. One's gonna be our proposal, your current policy. And then the last 2 is your work comp that's coming up for renewal as well. this proposal, if you open up the first page, we'll just make it short and simple. You do it, highlighted sections in it for you guys to pinpoint. And then beside it has a number bullet, which the second part of it that put in here, this is your current proposal. So it applies to each number. Our proposal on the general liability policy, through EMC, which is Employers Mutual.
Sorry, what was the second document?
This is your current policy.
Okay. And that,
And the numbers that I wrote, like the annual premium, the number 166. So our total annual premium for your general liability came in as a proposal of $320,296. As you compare to 166 on your bullet, your current premium for your general liability policy is $412,960. The savings of almost $90,000. The second part, the page, your general liability, your aggregate limit with your current carrier is only $2 million. So basically you can have 2 occurrences each year up to $1 million. Our proposal is for a $3 million aggregate limit, so you can have an additional $1 million claim list. They still have the $5 million umbrella, which is unlimited. Ours still has a $5 million umbrella, so you get one more additional $1 million claim per year with us. Page 5, your deductible per loss for your public officials employment liability practices. Number 80, item number on their list. You do have a $80,000 or a $10,000 deductible for them. We're half of that one. A lot of these coverages are very similar. I'm just kind of pointing out your deductible differences. Your cyber liability coverage. With us, you had a $10,000 deductible. With us, it's a $25,000 deductible. The cyber liability is becoming very, very prevalent today. $15,000 difference per claim. Your law enforcement coverage, with us, we quoted a $5,000 deductible. With them, a $25,000 deductible. $20,000 difference for your law enforcement liability claims. Next is going to be a big one on your auto coverage. With us, I quoted straight standard $1,000 deductible. No matter what vehicle you have, you got a $1,000 deductible with us. With them, as you can see on 109, specifically, you have a $5,000 deductible per vehicle. Or, sorry, that's my $5,000 liability deductible. On your vehicles, you have a $2,500 for emergency vehicles and $5,000 for ambulance. Or a straight 1,000 across the board, no matter what vehicle you have. And also, I did quote your ambulances on a replacement cost basis. They're not an actual cash value. So all the other vehicles are an actual cash value state. Another thing, and people always want to know about your building coverages. Our building coverage on page 9, we estimated replacement of $43,170,892. Your current coverage is for $42,967,000. A little better coverage there, but the big one is your deductible for your buildings with us is a $2,500 deductible. Right now, you have a $10,000 deductible. So as you can see, $90,000, a whole lot cheaper and a whole lot better deductibles, a whole lot better coverages. I will take you over to just the nitty-gritty of it. That is the first 2. And I gave you line items, I gave you your current policy, so look through them. If you have any questions, my card's on there, my cell phone number's on there, send me an email. We can talk about it and go through any line item that you have on there. The second part of this one is, the first one here looks like this. This is my proposal. Work with Judy and Mike on this one as well to get your current payroll is basically where the work comp comes from. We assessed it. We went off of numbers. I just got these numbers back last week of a $9,649,535 payroll. The work comp policy with us, and you'll have to turn back. It's experience mod sheet. Looks like this one. Our annual premium would be $199,909, and I included all we could get from the current carrier through Epic is your last 3 pay histories That's this sheet, and I highlighted on the very first one on the back, your premiums in 19 to 20 was 164,551 based off of an 8,500 or $8.5 million payroll. But you can see it went up. The following year, it was 8.7, almost 8.8 payroll, 177,000. The year prior, your 21 to 22 was a little over $10 million payroll, and your premium was 241,000. I expect when they get the numbers, the work comp policies will be pretty similar. So overall, I'm looking at a $90,000 savings and a whole lot better coverage for you. So, does anybody have any questions on any of those?
I have one for you.
Go ahead.
I just, would it lower their automobile insurance if they had in cameras?
Not necessarily, no.
You know, for like their county trucks and stuff like that.
Yeah. You're talking about on a liability standpoint on there, the trucks come, the basis on the premium on the trucks is gonna be from an in-house standpoint of the value of the vehicle. So whenever you're talking about that, you're talking about an overall liability premium. I can go back to them and talk, but usually no.
I just asking a question.
They usually have things like that already kind of built into it.
Ethan, where's the premium for the workers' comp?
I don't know that their current premium is. Well,
No, I mean, yours, what are you,
It's in,
oh, is it on that cover sheet?
in this one. So when you open this,
See that.
first shows the payroll, what it is, and then if you go back to pages, it's gonna show here, this one.
It's kind of back there hidden.
What, you're on page what?
One more.
Here.
You're close, right here. Here it is. Okay, all right.
I highlighted if I make it as easy as I could for you guys.
Appreciate it.
Yes, okay.
Like I said, if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out, like I said, much more.
I think you mentioned replacement cost 43 million.
And that's on certain ones, it's, the courthouse definitely isn't, and that was one thing that we need to address. I think the courthouse has a little over $11 million with protection for it. It's not on a replacement cost basis, it's on an actual cash value right now.
Oh,
Better than I thought, really, 11 million.
Yes, yeah, but it's listed in that overall factor of the valuation. You could replace that courthouse for $11 million, but would you replace it? You're talking about an astronomical number to replace it.
on the workman's comp, who would be writer for your workman's comp with it?
It's Indiana Public Employees Plan. It's a plan through Indiana.
Oh, yeah, I mean, all that architecture. Steinway.
When would we have the workers' comp numbers from Epic? Don't know.
You guys have to get that down.
You seem likable. You seem very likable, yeah.
Yeah, when you beat them by, and honestly, to the point of what we're discussing, every 3 years, you guys need to look at this, whether you have a policy with me or anybody else. And like I've stressed to other entities, going through a brokerage firm actually hurts you. There's plenty of insurance agents in this county. There's myself, there's Chris Barker down the road, there's Tony Craney right here, there's Rosemeyer and Fort Branch. These companies, and in your packet, you'll see in the very last page, that Epic brought to you guys. They're your brokerage firm right now. They brought you all the lines, and they show you on here that they all decline. There's a reason why they decline, because they don't give them the business. They don't give them the actual opportunity. They block out the rest of us from being able to quote it. And you guys should never do that. It never benefits you guys, because had I not reached out to them before I came and asked you guys for it, they would have blocked me out, and I would have never been able to bring you a quote. You guys would have never been able to see another option of having a $90,000 savings. So go to your Chris Barkles, go to your Tony Craney's, go to your Rosemeyer and say, hey, in 3 years, we want a comparison quote. Stay away from the brokerage companies. But that's my 2 cents, and been doing this 14 years and never seems to benefit.
It's good advice, yeah. Thank you,
So,
Nathan.
so the coverage on cyber is comparable. I mean, I understand the deductible is different, and the coverage on structures is comparable.
It's more.
It's a little more.
Yeah. With $2,500 deductible on the buildings, you got it currently at $10,000. a lot of differences. But like I said, review all those, my cell phone numbers on there, my emails on there. Don't hesitate to reach out. You guys got plenty of time before your renewals up. So we got plenty of time to talk about it. Yeah. Happy to answer any questions. Thanks for your time, guys.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you.
All right, Jason, looks like you're up next. Re-precincting for Oakland City.
There was a voluntary annexation in Oakland City. That has been, I believe the paperwork on it was circulated to the commissioners. It looks like it was 62 acres, 5 parcels. The clerk's office just needs us to essentially accept that for purposes of changing those voters, the residents of those houses around so that they can vote in the city election. So I would ask the commissioners to approve for the clerk's office, the voluntary annexation.
Like that motion.
Second,
There's a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
I,
Opposed? The ayes have it.
okay, the gutter project on the probation building.
Talk about this one. Nick and I have talked about this. We believe that it may have already been acted upon. I don't know if we confirmed that or not, but
Couldn't find it in our minutes.
okay. The Danco submitted a proposal to run those gutters essentially under the concrete, correct? Right now it's dumping onto the concrete. It's problematic design. It's a design flaw. I don't remember the cost, Nick. Maybe you can help me out with that.
2,500. Hold on. This is all findings from whenever we did it, first got done and they did a checklist on it. We all walked around on it. Yeah. So what it was is, move downspouts and replace gutters, downspout dumping on asphalt and, add wear on one end toward ramp or leave off. On backside, move downspout to south side, with wear and install B elbow on west end. Proposed total sum was, 2,520.
So it's previously discussed. I'm just asking for approval of that work at tonight's meeting.
But right now it's running underneath the concrete sidewalk.
It's dumping the water onto the sidewalk, so when it freezes, it's gonna be an issue. Yeah,
Just an open gutter right now.
Yeah.
Staining the concrete.
yeah, it's staining the concrete.
I make that motion to get that done.
Second,
There's a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
okay. Gibson County Coal Road Bond.
I don't know if you guys have our agreement or not. You know, just a couple maps and photos. Here's a bigger map for you if you'd like it, but basically. We have already bonded a section of the county road that we no longer use. We just have kept bond up on it. We're about 2 miles south of the intersection of 64 and 65. We plan on putting a rock dust facility in off County Road West 280 South.
All your area.
It's a paved road. We don't cross any bridges. Bond is 100,000 per mile. We've got 1.3 miles that we'd like to bond.
What kind of traffic do you expect to have on this road?
I think realistically, we're gonna have 5 or 6 tractor trailers going up and down throughout the week. And this would be a life of mine facility where, you know, as long as we're around, we're probably gonna utilize it. So right now in the neighborhood of 20 years, could be realistic. But that's all dictated on the market.
Do you anticipate repaving it once you're all done? Is that the idea or is that what you're thinking or?
So we've actually took drone footage of the road. You know, if it needs repair, if we see any damage over the time of usage, yeah, we'll happily pay to fix it.
So your bond will cover repaving it if needed.
Yep. Yeah.
Anyone that from the Owensville or Montgomery Township area would like to look at this, you're welcome to come forward and take a look at it, but basically, we're looking at, it's County Road 250 South here.
So everybody always called the Brazelton Road. With the house with the pink shutters.
And 280 South here too, yeah. Which of both, is that, am I clear on that? Cause you've got it marked here, 250 South and then also 280 South there.
Yeah, it just turns into two eighty south around here.
It just makes a big curve around that hill.
Yep. And then it just stays 280 south, all the way to the, where we've got a permitted site.
Well, that was just paved about,
It's a pretty nice road.
yeah.
Yeah, pretty nice road.
6 years ago.
I'm thinking in 2013, there was a lot of work that we got tip money for in that local area.
Yeah.
Well, was done.
And will you share your video footage with the county, with the commissioners?
Oh, absolutely.
That'd be great. That'd be
Yeah.
great. Cause one thing we wanna make sure we do here is before we release the bond or before we would, relinquish it of any responsibility is that the road is back in good shape again.
Right.
It's one thing we always try to inspect afterwards, so.
Yep, we can bring those down here whenever we have the surety bond in hand.
Sounds good.
Happy to do that.
That is in the Owensville water supply, wellhead protection area also. It is, you familiar with that?
No.
Okay. You turn off Highway 65 and head west.
Yep.
First County Road 675 west.
Yeah.
There's 3 or 4 white buildings out there. That is the Owensville water supply.
Okay.
So there is an area around in there. I farm in there.
Okay.
And we're not allowed to mix farm chemicals in that area, fertilizer, anything like that. We apply, but we can't mix it
Yeah.
in that area. The case that you have, you'll be hauling rock dust?
Yes.
Okay. Is that all?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Chances are that's not a hazardous material, but
No.
just need to be aware that is wellhead protection area there. That's from Highway 65 back west of the wells, approximately a quarter of a mile.
Okay.
Might hit a snag.
Is to make a motion tonight to, go ahead, Larry.
Comments I have is that heard from the presidents out that way, and I don't have any idea what roads they are. I think they reported it to the commissioners, but some of the county roads down by the Owensville coal mine is in pretty bad shape right now. And you said something about $100,000 bonds. Is that right?
Just based on a normal number, we'll have $135,000 worth of bond. It's $100,000 per mile of asphalt road is the standard rate that they'd like to bond it at.
Like I know of one road that was just built a year or so ago, and county engineer told me it was like $200,000 a mile. That's what the cost of the road was.
I'm not sure if it'd be like that just to resurface it.
Yes, there's just research.
I think Larry's talking about 3 inches of cover.
Yeah.
I don't know what you put in your figures or your numbers, but that would be a concern is if you have enough in the bond. How many miles of road are you taking in with this project?
1.35.
1.35, so not a great distance or anything, but I would say, based on what standards we have, and by the time you add in your shoulder, if there's damage to the shoulder,
Yeah.
you're probably looking at in excess of $200,000 on the bond.
Yeah.
Which
So I did-
I don't think that would be a problem for your company.
Right, bond's worst case scenario, right? That's if we went bankrupt or we could never pay, but most of the time we release bond. And
Right.
it's, we're gonna be staying in business well past that, so. I did find that number on an ordinance. Matt Holden actually gave me the document. It was ordinance 215-1. Had different rates in there. If you can turn to probably page 3 in here, these were all the ordinance. It just showed a rate, a bond rate for gravel roads, chip and seal. So that's where I did get that number from. If we need to do anything different, I'm sure it wouldn't be a big deal at all, but I just haven't seen any other numbers.
There will be a weight limit on the trucks.
That this agreement is kind of looking to just have a excess weight for those county roads. They're gonna be 80 ton. So normal tractor trailers running on the county roads.
8,000 pound go for trash.
Yeah,
Not 80 ton.
80 ton pound.
So we can update it. Commissioner Montgomery, and Commissioner Burns, I think, in light of the discovery here, we should table this issue and take a look at those rates because, they probably do need to be updated. And, I don't hold them responsible for that, but it's something that we need to take care of. And make sure we got the road
Yeah.
repair rates, in order. So is that gonna set you back too far or can we bring you back to our next meeting here and
Yeah, we can come back. Realistically, we'd like to, we're permitted to start construction, in the next 2 months. I wouldn't anticipate a semi-traffic for probably 3 months.
Fair enough. And we won't hold you up, but we just want to update that and also communicate the update with you. And then have it ready for approval and then notification to you at the next meeting if that's,
That's no big deal.
something you could agree to.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, motion to.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we table this matter until we've had time to review and update our rates for bonding. And then, of course, we notify them at the next meeting if you're able to attend the next meeting.
I thought you had a question. You had a question for you, sir.
You got
Sure.
20 years from now, what it's gonna be to everything's going up. So you might wanna think about that.
Sure.
What things are gonna be like 20 years from now.
I'll be equating.
It's probably be a good idea to do something like this every 5 years or so, really, or sooner. The way the economy varies so much and the cost of oil and pavement,
Gotta be.
That's a good point. But I'll make that motion so we can do it for now and take care of our part.
Okay, I'll second that. All in favor? Aye.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pete. All right, Ed. Peabody Code.
Yeah. I think 2 issues in front of you guys. I've been talking with Jason and met with Ken and Brent. The first one would be where the companies changed bonding companies. So I've submitted to Jason the new bonds. He has the originals in the agreement. There's a brief letter that goes with it that says, we're terminating the old bond and you're accepting the new bond. Drop those off to Jason. That's one. The other one would be well, Ken and I went and looked at several of the years, the 40 years of previous mindset, several of these dropped that gold. The ones that we have in front of you guys, they're ones that have been reclaimed for several years, okay, and they just kind of fell through the cracks on our. And I've also forwarded those to Jason. I'm just bringing it before you guys now. So, you can't chime in, but I think when we look at the roads.
We checked out where all the old dust holes were. We went in and looked at the roads. Didn't see any problem with any of it. So I have no problem lifting those bonds. But they got another one they're wanting to start.
That'll be, like you said, be a couple, 3 months out.
Yeah.
Not even part of this, but like I said, main thing is the new bonds and then terminating, I think it's 6 or 7 road agreements that have been reclaimed for at least 5 years. I know some of them might be a little bit newer than that.
Jordan's been a long time.
Oh, I know. And like I say, I'll just go to Jason. I don't know if you've had a chance to review them.
I have, yeah, I don't have any issues with it. So we give you guys the roads, 675 east and 450 south. 550 east.
As far as you're talking about, as far as the release of the bond.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some of these agreements, not all of them had a bond with them. Some of them were just an extension of another area where Iowa superintendent signed on behalf of him. I think there's only 2 of them that might have bonds.
down there, going down there, and they put a dog leg in it, and it's like a 90, and it goes to the bridge, you know, down there in the bottom, down there past the Twin Bridges and all that, you bypass the neck.
Yeah.
Road, county, name of the county road, you go down there, and then you got 90, and then it goes in there, and it takes, it's got a slurry over here, you got a slurry in a couple places, and then it takes you out, you know where that old bridge is, it goes to the Toka River, right there.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about, but they got a 90. Well, I know, cause I work for a couple of farmer out, I know they can't make that 90. And you got some, like your stands, you know, up through there, you know, for your underground mine.
I'm not familiar with the area you're talking about, so I'm kind of at a loss.
Kenny kind of knows where I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, right?
think,
Well, I mean, you go down there, like if you take, 50 south and head east,
yeah,
and you go down there, and then you go down toward before you get to the Twin Bridges,
Right.
that road, that little narrow county road that goes through there, and you make a 90, and takes you out down there by the cover, the bridges down there.
oh, yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
yeah. Where it makes that 90 through the bridge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is
That
it
ain't
a
the
road,
bond.
that
That
is
ain't
a
the
road
bond.
that we've
No,
done?
No, that's nothing to theirs.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
they never crossed Cade Creek to get to that side of it.
Right, but there's a road right before it, I'd have to go out there one. But there's a road out there that coal mine owns, and you go down there and it takes you to the big night where they got a slurry water there, and it kind of winds around it, and it's a.
Oh, yeah, I know where you're talking about. Yeah, that's nothing.
Yeah. That's what's narrow.
That was just that was just a cut through road when they did away with part of it. When they did away with, see, 650 or no, 675.
Right,
They did away with that and then made that jog through the fields.
right,
That's gonna be like that one that they put in that goes there by Charlie Schultz. That's nothing.
okay,
That's not a county road anymore.
okay, that's what I wanted.
Yeah, that was just one of their roads. Not a problem.
Yeah, I didn't know, I'm sorry, I didn't know the area.
Well, I can't remember the name, I just know, I called somebody down through there, and I was, man, this 90-degree corner, it's tight, and you have them bumpers sticking up for your underground, you know?
Bonds high with the dump truck.
And
All right.
All right.
So you gonna bring us up to the next one, next go round, or
as far as.
they're on Outer Lake Road? They're Loomis
The
property.
new one we're talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, this gentleman, this might be 3 months before I'm back to you guys. I was just showing you guys
right.
where they're looking at. You know, I kind of got ahead of them. I wanted
Okay,
to see what in the long term they're looking.
yeah. Everything we looked at, I have no problem with, you know. And those few little roads they put in when they milled up some of the other roads, those are all just farmers might use them, but nobody else does,
Right.
you know, so.
So that's where I'm at, Jim. And like I say, I've got all the agreements and the bonds with Jason. There's several of them to sign. I don't know what your time allocation is, so, you know, if I need to come back and pick them up, that's fine.
Okay.
Any additional questions?
Oh, I've traveled the roads with him and Brant the other day, so.
Is in a position to act upon the bond releases this evening then?
I'm really, leave it, I am. I spoke with Brand about them. He seemed to think they're all fine, so.
Yeah,
We'll move.
Motion for the
make
bond
that
releases?
motion.
A motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
And as far as the replacement bonds, we're good with those then also.
You guys want to act on that this evening as well? The replacement bonds? It's the same coverage amount, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah. They just changed companies. Just changed surety companies.
Okay. That's fine with me.
I'd ask for a motion to accept the replacement bonds as presented.
Make that motion.
I have a motion. Do I hear a second to the motion? There's a motion and you seconded.
I second.
There's a motion and second on the floor. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Then I'll
Both the ayes have it.
contact you towards the end of the week for those documents.
Yep.
Like I said, gentlemen, there's several of them there. You know, there's
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
That comes up yours.
Here's your map if you,
Hazelton lot.
sure, if you don't need it back.
It's okay.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks. Yep.
Did you mention the next agenda item?
Yes. Hazelton lot.
Yeah, this is a property that we acquired after a tax sale, unsuccessful tax sale. We eventually acquired ownership of it. It's almost a half an acre. Initially Habitat for Humanity expressed interest in us transferring it to them. And then subsequent interest was expressed by a church, and Habitat's pretty much backed out at this point. It has an assessed value of $300. So commissioners need to let me know what you want to do, whether that's transfer it, hold on to it, lease it. Those are essentially your three options.
And church would be a nonprofit, there's nonprofit on that, right?
Yeah.
I have talked to some people about that they would be able to, there may be some money available. Abby was talking about that.
I'm gonna make the motion. I mean, we didn't even know we had it. And we don't have nothing to do with it, so I'd donate it to the church.
I'll just say, I mean, I would favor leasing it. And keeping, public access down there because it is pretty close to, water, correct?
Yeah.
And I think it's, one of those opportunities. That's the only reason I bring this up is because it's one of those opportunities where you just, you got some area there where you could, have access to the water and the county would have access to it, the public would have access to it, but
Well, I'm sure the church would do that, and the way I look at it, if we lease it, then we're still liable if anything happens. Somebody falls and drowns right there.
good point. We'd have to spell it out. You're right.
Yeah, so I'd just soon let the church have it. They're just talking about putting picnic tables out there, and so that's.
Right now, it's,
Which I would be agreeable to let them make improvements to it. I really would. But I just thought we could lease it and also include in a lease that should the county need it or wish to take it back, that it's not a time sensitive lease that we could end the lease at any given time. But I mean, I'm not gonna argue with it. That was my thinking, is we don't want to give away county property. Granted, it is a small parcel, but
If we're gonna lease it, they just lease it to them for $1 a year,
that's what I was thinking, something really reasonable and,
as
yeah,
long as they can use it. And
that's what I was thinking too.
oh my, for me coming out, going out there and there's
So it is right on the river.
in fact, the ramp's on DNR property. So for ours, it's just on the left. It'd be on the west side of that. And it really isn't nothing really. The citizens of that area we don't take care of it. The Hazelton families, I'm sure it's the church out there that them people take care of it. As they're having a work day this weekend, actually. I get 12 o'clock, I think. So like I said, we don't have really nothing to do with it. I mean, I second that we just give it to them, but they're willing to take it.
There's a motion and second on the floor. Any additional discussion?
And that is to donate it to the church, correct?
Yeah, Kenny,
Yes.
he made a
Kenny's
motion, and I
I
second
made
it.
the motion, to donate it to the church.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
The ayes have it 2-1.
Okay, Geotech Solutions website, Robert Owen. Anybody here?
I don't see Robert, but I can, and Mike can probably add a little more to this potentially, but Robert is proposing to create a website for us. And he's wanting to do something that's a little more user friendly And to also be a little more inclusive when it comes to sharing, documents that taxpayers might need. So we're wanting to kind of create more access and more transparency for Gibson County taxpayers through this new website. Robert has given us some figures on it. I don't have those before me.
I think it was like
Do you have them,
$5,000.
Judy? Oh, great.
I think it was like 5,000.
Yeah, I thought it was very reasonable. But what I thought was most important is just how much transparency this would create. And, fellow commissioners, when I was on the town council in Fort Branch, we did a similar, project, and we included a lot of we included all of our ordinances, and we actually, were able to provide a lot of documents and calendar related items to the citizens of Fort Branch. And I kind of like to see us do this here at the county level too, just to help out citizens and maybe save them a trip into the courthouse or into the North Annex. So the whole idea is to kind of put out there, not only our laws and regulations, but also items that might help people, to apply for, permits and items as such. But okay, so just a quick rundown here. I'll give a quick synopsis. It's a one-time billing of $3,600. That's the 1-year contract. You are billed monthly. After that, looking for the end result here.
There's no end result.
What's that, Nick?
There is no end on it. It's just the adding the pages. on it.
Okay.
Adding the web pages.
Yeah, each additional page is up $150. So I would just say right now, let's take it under advisement, to be discussed at our next meeting. But, we do have a proposal from Geotech Solutions for the development of a new website that would be, more user-friendly than the current one. And would also offer a lot of resources to create even more transparency in our, county government. So again, I'd say take it under advisement so we all can take a look at it again and then bring it up at the next meeting. And Judy, did you have any thoughts on it, or Mike? I don't know if you've talked to Robert about it. And if you haven't, that's fine. But Judy, did you have anything on it? Mike, did you have anything?
I just know my experience from working with him that he does a great job, and our current website is so far outdated and it's not user friendly now. And I don't know what he's proposed, but with the website that I have, he updates it for us for a fee. A flat fee, he updates it so it makes it nice. Any changes that we want, he updates it for us on a regular basis. So
Well, thank you for your input, Mike.
Well, let's just post or just kind of put it off till next go around with.
Sounds
I don't
fair.
have time to look at this.
Yes, sir. Okay, I'll make a motion to table, for further review and to be, addressed at the next meeting.
I second that.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye.
All right.
Okay, Nick, you're up next.
All right. So, well, I think it was our last meeting, we had, Emily Brown come from the Well of Gibson County. She's the executive director, / founder of this program. I got Mr. Dowdy is going to speak on that.
Thank you, man. David Doty, Owensville. I guess we had a board meet, guys formed a board, recovery board. There's a lot of opioid money floating around for addiction only, addiction purposes only, recovery only. It's not taxpayers. I always say having taxpayers. And just real quick on the Well of Gibson County, for all of y'all that don't know, it's female focused program for mothers to get the following resources: education, support, training, goal setting, accountability. It says here what they need that are tangible, help them get a high school education diploma. They can obtain housing and employment and childcare for them. It's financial guidance, banking information, stuff like that. Healthcare helps them with that. It's a free program for mothers. Importance of nutrition, returning their family, connecting local resources. It's So the needs that are intangible, they build skills, help them with that, build confidence, education on how to advocate for the child and themselves. It's held at the library. It's a nonprofit thing. Just looking at the numbers, I can get into them. You guys can look at those. It's very well underfunded being a nonprofit just starting out. So the Addiction Recovery Board got together and everybody decided, and we thought it was in the best interest of the county for the good well-being to spread all the recovery and have all the resources out to have the commissioners vote to give them $8,000 for their project to get started. It's a small amount of it, but it's a start. So if y'all got any questions or anything, feel free to ask me. We're trying to keep programs alive in Gibson County that will deter the actual opioid problem itself, or addiction, or alcohol, or the problem itself at a younger age, and give people resources so maybe they ain't doing these things.
Me and David and Sheriff Mano was on this board as well.
Yeah,
We all voted unanimous to approve this.
yeah, Sheriff Van Oven, Jonathan Reiser, Pastor Jonathan Reiser, Ron Norval from the Health Department, Nick Burns and I. We've been trying to distribute this money around without trying to enable people to do drugs and alcohol. Instead, we're trying to go the opposite route. So if y'all got any questions, we would like to do that for them and to give them a start of what's going on.
This, if we vote this on today, then I guess to get it appropriated to the council, like we've done previously.
And we do have, if you need numbers, I've got it here. We've got some money we really need to get rid of because we've got another round of it coming in. It's coming in over the next 10 years. The pharmaceuticals got sued big time. It's pretty, some of it's restricted and some of it's unrestricted. The unrestricted funds, we're trying to do the right thing with. If you get good with the unrestricted, actually with you first, that's.
You did, yeah.
What was that, 93? I got the number.
It was 97,000.
98,000. Every Gibson County school.
Yeah.
I mean, for preventative stuff, classes, information, all that stuff. I think that's what it was here. Yeah, it's $98,715. That went to you first, so. We got other projects in mind we'll talk about later, but we're trying to keep everything alive for the recovery. We're gonna have a chance.
That's right. And those resources you were talking about with the previous money, they're going to every school corporation in Gibson County.
Every school in Gibson.
That's what I
County.
liked
It's
about that.
Only Gibson County Youth First.
We're not leaving anybody out.
They made the agreement, it will not be used in Vandenberg, Pike County, nowhere. They're gonna show a paper trail. Every 6 months, they're gonna bring you guys and us information showing that it goes to every private and Catholic, even the Catholic schools. We're all the way up to 8th grade. And we feel her program at the library is very well needed. And they can teach them life skills, teach them this and that, and maybe we can prevent a lot of this stuff from going on in Gibson County.
I agree.
Good work.
Questions?
Make that motion.
Good work. I'll second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, we had two medical leaves. We need a motion to approve those.
I make that motion.
I'll second.
And
I'd like to speak.
Okay, just a minute. Need a,
I'll second.
I already did.
Okay.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
All right.
Okay.
What I've got to say doesn't concern Mr. Barnes or completely it's strictly in the government. You decided to run for commissioner. You came out to my house. I gave you, I gave you some money.
Give me $100, yes.
Okay. You believe that between road 350 and 550 had been slowly neglected for years.
It has been.
That's your exact words. Get over there on 800 and Blacktop or Chip and Seal and mill that road over there. Very few people use that road. You didn't do the main road up there. Why? Why do you keep lying to them, Kenny? That's my question. Why do you keep lying to me?
I ain't lying to you. I didn't promise you.
I can prove you that.
I didn't promise you we was gonna do any of them.
I'll bring a man in here to show you you're right, you're wrong. Yeah.
What you have to do.
Right in front of two of us and told us exactly what I just said.
I said, I'd like to see something done on that road.
And you just ain't done nothing. And they wrote, Brian Rexing from Fort Branch, they farm Jerry Kelsley's ground. Okay, they mow the right of way, the roads and stuff around there, make it nice. But the rest of the road where nobody, farm, where they don't farm, in other words, you go down through there right now on Road 450 and you just knock the wax off your car with the damn weeds sticking out in the road. That area has still been neglected. You ain't done nothing. You're about the poorest damn commissioner I think we've ever had out there, Kenny.
Your opinion.
And you're gonna run for reelection?
Yeah, I'm going to.
I hope the hell you don't, but
Yeah, I am.
that's up to you. And
I had Bill M asked me to do it.
See that you get beat.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, because you have lied to us, and I'll prove that anytime you want. Come right out to my house and I'll bring the man there and he will prove it to you.
Okay,
You lied to us. Repeatedly. That's all I got to say.
like I says, you didn't have your hearing aids in that day. See what I tell you? I said, you didn't have your hearing aids in that day.
You weren't 3 foot from me, so I heard you.
Okay. All right, did you get those?
Oh,
Dennis Simpson from Owensville. Been brought to our attention that our ambulance in Owensville is not being manned. There's some paramedics that aren't there part of the time. They've taken them other places. And just kind of concerned about that. We went through this 10, 15 years ago with staff shortages.
Oh, no, it did.
We've spent quite a bit of money, taxpayers' money, that we pay in to build them a bay for their ambulance that the county didn't have to pay for. We bought 2 ambulances in the last, this one that we have right now, we did not purchase. But it's not fair to people in Montgomery Township not to keep that staffed. And you know, my question is, if we're all equal in this county, and if Owensville can't be staffed, then we shut one down in Princeton, so Owensville can be staffed, or we shut one down in Fort Branch, so Owensville can be staffed.
They'll overhead one at each place.
That's exactly right. But
That's
if you're
right.
Short of people.
But before they had
Why
the one down at Owensville, didn't Fort Branch take care of that side of the county too?
Yeah, but that's another 12, that's another 10.
I know it. I know it is, but if we can't, if we don't have the people to staff it, it can't be
It's
helped.
not fair to the people of Owensville when we don't, when there's no one there.
Director.
Well, and Denny, I have to agree with you on that. EMS, if you think about it, everyone, I just want everybody in here to think about it for a little bit, let us sink in, give it some sync time, but the EMS is exactly, it's one good reason why we have county government, right? I mean, I think of government, I think of all the services provided by government, and EMS is one of the reasons why you do have government in the first place. It's to protect the people and to look after the citizens. So, and I also think that when looking at this picture, it's a public service for the good of the citizens of Gibson County. I mean, that's my position on it. I think it's unfortunate because, you know, we are where we are right now, but I also can assure you that all 3 commissioners have supported EMS pay, fair EMS pay for our employees. And now here we are. And we started working on this 3 years ago when we first got in office. And so I just want you to know that you have the commissioners on your side. From day one, we were on your side, on the citizen side, and we've also been on the side of EMS. And I would open the floor to any EMS employee or anyone who's been with us these last 3 years to testify tonight that we have always advocated for an increase in salary. And the predicament we're in now is because of the lack of fair wages. And it's not just EMS, to be fair, the sheriff is in attendance tonight. It's also in law enforcement, which I've been a strong advocate for, and my fellow commissioners have been strong advocates for. So I guess what I'm trying to say in a professional and nice way is, we're glad you're here. And you are preaching to the choir a little bit because we're on the same team as you. And I think most of us here would agree that it's not fair to short any part of our county, especially the folks in Montgomery Township. The bottom line is when we talk about EMS, service is on the line here, right? Service is on the line, but more importantly, lives are on the line. And that's just the facts of it all. I was looking over some of my notes I'd taken earlier in regards to like, just the rates that are being paid by other counties. See if I can dig them up here real quick. Oh, here they are. Gibson County, this is for paramedics, $18.05 an hour. Advanced EMTs, $16 an hour. And basic is $13.50. So anyone who's writing this down, basically just say $18.05, $16.66, and $13.50. Now, to make it a little easier for those that are just trying to absorb this here, let's just do paramedics only for now. I mean, we could go on, trust me. It's discouraging, but let's just go with paramedics alone. Paramedics in Gibson County. These are people that are saving your neighbors, your family, potentially you in the future. They're making $18.05 an hour. In Posey County, one of our adjacent counties, they're making $22.04 an hour. In Pike County, $22.34 an hour. So in all neighboring counties, we're looking at an increase of at minimum $4 more an hour. And what the council has chosen not to address yet, and I do hope they will. I really hope that they will come to terms and get this fixed. The county council is our fiscal body in the county. They approve the money. And I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, and I hope that they will help us to solve this problem. But what they've chosen to do so far is to not increase. We've even had years where other employees got increases in pay, and yet EMS was neglected. And so we're facing a predicament that I honestly can say we've been working on for 3 years. And we're hoping the county council gets on board this time. They have a great opportunity here to make a difference. And what's going to happen is if we can get that pay up to a fair rate, we are more likely to be able to retain employees. We've lost, and I'll let Dave speak on some of the numbers here, but we've lost a significant number of employees to other counties, to neighboring counties.
My question is.
Yes, sir.
If you're short on staff, why the taxpayers in Montgomery Township don't have the coverage? Why is that?
That's on.
Dave, would you please? Dave Pond's our EMS director. And Dave, would you like to come forward over here?
Yeah, I mean, if I could, I would put an ambulance in every community. I would. The problem is, I don't have the people. Right now, within the last 2 months, we've lost 6 or 7 people. I can't remember 7, but I know we've lost 6 people. The problem is when you're looking at a service of only 24 full timers, that's a lot of people. Then we've also got 2 people at Tattle Medical. If I could staff them, and one of the problems that we also have is that these people that we've been losing has been to other services for the exact thing. I mean, I can show you letters that I've gotten as resignations of why they're leaving.
So is the Princeton station staff?
Yes, but let me explain.
Why is that though?
Okay, that's what I'm going to explain to you. When I, as a director, have to look at where the runs come, the run volume and the population, I have to cover the greatest number of people and run volume with the least amount of people that I've got. So I put them in the greatest areas. And please don't take this as I care about this person more than I do this. I got some family that lives over there, okay, that are really close to me.
This has nothing to do with the fact I have to make decisions. It's just like when I go on a really bad accident and I have to decide who goes first. I have to pick out which one is the worst at surviving. Okay, same way here. I have to pick where the remaining amount of run volume and population is to cover. And that's why it is the way it is. It's nothing, this is nothing personally against anybody, but people has tried to make it that, but that's not what it is.
I understand it's not personal. The thing is, if you want the council to step up to the plate, leave your Princeton station empty sometime and fill ours down at Owensville. Then you get somebody's attention.
Well, here's the thing.
That's where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
It's all equal.
What I
Look,
need,
we pay, our taxes are just as high down in Montgomery Township as they are all over the county.
what I need you guys to do, if you would, anybody that you can get to come to the next council meeting. That's what I need. I need us to work together because I don't know what else to do. And anybody that has followed this, and I know like George and some others that's watched since I've been in as director. I have fought the county council, and I'm not gonna mix words about it. I have fought the county council for pay, and you guys watch the news even. I have fought the county council since I've been in here to try to get paid for these guys. Problem is because I seen this coming. So, and I told them even that if we don't take care of this, one thing too, I think everybody needs to know is this is not a problem just in Gibson County. This is a problem nationwide. EMS has been neglected for a lot of years. And now it has come home to roost. And that's what I was trying to tell them from the very first day I came in, when I started talking to them, that we needed to up this pay. Did you know, let me explain something to you, you guys may or may not know to understand why some of the people's left us. When I came in, you know how much we was getting paid? We was getting paid 16 of 24 hours of work. So if they didn't go out, they gave 8 hours of pay each time to the county. They didn't get paid. We fought, it took us over 10 months of fighting with the council to get where they finally paid for every hour. Okay? Now that was last May.
Yeah, we did that not to interrupt you, but we did that in our first year.
Yeah.
We worked to get that where they get paid every hour.
Right, and the commissioners have been great. I'm not joking. These guys have been great for us. They have worked with us time and time. I couldn't tell you how good they've been with us. But then let me tell you what happened last year. And I know that I'm not gonna be popular. I'm not popular with the council. But let me tell you what happened last year. Whenever we finally did get this paid, it was back in like May of last year. When we did get the pay, when it came around to the first of the year this year, they gave every county employee in this county a 50 cents an hour raise, except for, you know who? EMS. We didn't get a penny. Well,
True story.
The thing was, whenever I first presented to them that we was wanting pay for, and let me tell you something else too. Whenever we was getting paid 16 to 24 hours, the paramedics, and you still use the paramedics, they was making $19.78 an hour. When the county council finally agreed to pay us, they dropped it to $18.01, over $1.50 an hour less because they was gonna pay us for every hour. So that was the first kick in the groin. Then whenever, you know, and I told them if they would have paid us at that point, and then if they'd have gave us the 50 cents an hour raise, you can see by what Warren was saying, the prices, we've been in that ballpark. But what happened, they didn't do that. And in the end, we are still making $18.05 an hour, the paramedics are. Basic EMTs are making $13.50 an hour. You can go flip burgers for more than that. And I'm not trying to knock anybody that works at a fast food restaurant. What I'm trying to say is this problem goes a lot further than just pointing blame at it. You know, this is a problem. And I seen something the other day. I want to clarify one other thing. I seen something the other day, somebody put on one of the sites, it was Owensville Connection. They said, is it a financial issue or is it that they just don't want to work? Okay. I want to tell you what our guys do. Our guys right now work over 800 hours more per year than most anybody else. You know, most people work 8 hour days, 5 days a week. Our guys work over 800 hours more per year. And most of them right now, because we keep losing people, are working between 1,000 and 1,300 hours more right now. And the thing is, what I'm saying is these guys have worked their tails off. They are tired, they are beat down, they're discouraged. And they're not seeing a lot of help. And I keep trying to promise them that I'm hoping there's some light at the end of the tunnel. But what I need is from the public to help support this, because I need help. I have beat my head against the wall. These guys have just beat their head against the wall. So please, I would appreciate any support you guys can give us.
Well, we'll give you support, but like I said, we're all equal in this county.
Yeah.
And I don't appreciate our ambulance space not being staffed.
Yeah.
When you could leave another one empty.
Well, and
Move
what,
it around, rotate it.
just to interrupt for a moment
Leave
there
one
too.
in Princeton one time, then leave one in Fort Ranch empty one time, then Oakland City. Just treat us equal.
Yeah, and
It's just because the number runs, you know how far it is from Owensville to the far southwest corner of Gibson County? It's a long way.
You drove that area.
Oh, yeah.
Get in that area very much, I'll be honest, I'm not.
I mean, we don't go down there very.
I've been at the meetings even before these commissioners went. You guys have been battling pay raises for the guys even before these people. It's been a long time now, and they need paid more, I agree. But he's right. Buddy, I've grown up in that area.
Yeah.
So you're talking, there's more in Princeton that can be dealt with, but it's a quicker run. Let me tell you something, if you gotta come out from Fort Branch, or let's say Fort Branch, and you gotta get all the way down there near Prawleyville on one of them county roads, and those people ain't from this station, they don't know where the heck they're going. Let me tell you something, lives are gonna be lost.
Yeah, well,
So let's try to we gotta keep somebody, at least one person there. That is a very rural area with a nursing home 2 blocks from my house.
Okay, let me tell you something. Though. First of all, we are trying our best. We've got a guy down there right now today, okay? And yesterday we had a full crew down there. We're trying our best. We really are. But these crews are getting.
That's why I asked every question about focus. I've heard quite a few stories and you see all 3 of these guys are on your side.
And see, and I want to tell you something else too. What has hurt us, and I'm just gonna be flat out blunt about this, is there are several of the county council members have mentioned several times about privatizing themselves. Well, first of all, privatization, I've been in EMS for 40 years, okay? So when I talk about EMS, I do know EMS. I may not know about a lot of things, but I do know EMS. That would be one of the worst things they could do in this county. The problem is the fact that our employees are looking at this and they're thinking, they may not have a job here shortly. They're looking at, I can get paid better elsewhere. And no matter what I try to do to keep them, I'm not able to. And the thing is, you know, whenever, what you say, I totally understand, I really do. And like I said, if I had a choice to put an ambulance, you know, in every community, I would. Financially, I'm not giving that amount of money to do that. And as far as trying to cover the county, I'm not.
You'll feel more pressure though if you don't.
I'm sorry, now.
If you leave the station empty in Princeton, I know you can't handle that pressure.
Well, here's the.
That's the bottom line right there. That's what I'm getting.
If you're talking about personally, if I can't.
You know, that's all.
Well, first of all, if you're asking personally, I can personally handle about anything, because let me tell you, my time is about done. And I pretty much speak my mind, but the problem is even though I speak my mind, I have to cover the biggest amount of population with the amount of people I've got. And as much as I would love to have one in every area of this county, I just don't have it. And this is not, and you know what you said?
Dave, could I interject for just a moment here? Because in listening to both Dennis and you talk, I kind of come up with something, and that is that if the council does not address this budgetary time, right? If they don't address it in this current budget, then we're not going to be just hearing from South Gibson folks, but we already know East Gibson folks are here tonight. We already know who's going to be next on the chopping block. We already know where the service is going to be diminished, and it's going to be East Gibson next. So again, I like the fact that we have citizens concerned here tonight because we have to look at this as a countywide issue. And it's starting on the south, it's starting in Montgomery. But I can guarantee you with certainty that if they don't bring those increases up, if they don't increase and make it a fair wage, we're gonna lose more folks. And then we're gonna be talking about Oakland City or East Gibson. And we need to address it now. It needs to be addressed now, and then I'll be quiet, but.
Well, that's the truth.
I understand, that's fact.
And threats of privatization, one last thought here, I'm sorry. But threats of privatization are not gonna happen with this group of commissioners. Tell me if I'm speaking out of turn, but I can say like I said earlier, it's one of the great reasons why you have government in the first place, is to provide a service like this. I mean, this is what people look for. It's what our grandparents and our parents and even ourselves, young people, we expect that to be there. And it's not worth privatizing if a group would come in like they do in a lot of privatizations, cut your services in half. Heaven forbid we would have a north and a south ambulance station to cut costs and please the CEOs so they could get a raise. We all know how privatizations work in this country, right?
And that's where this is going to head. If this continues on, the next thing, like he said, East Gibson will be out. And we're going to just keep going down that road if we don't. That's why, like I said, I'm begging you guys, if anything you guys can do to come to the council.
I got one quick question.
Take off.
They might know when the budget is
Andrew,
decided, how
you can go.
soon does it have to be,
Go that way. Fine.
I think I know when the budget's gotta be decided.
December. It will be published in December.
But when do they agree?
Well, how soon?
They'll be making some of their final
The council's already done.
adjustments.
It's gonna be read on,
Already done there?
it's gonna be read on the 12.
But that doesn't mean that they couldn't revise if need be. The commissioners have asked for a raise of $2 an hour. And we've taken a stand on it, and we're not gonna back down from that. So.
See, the $2 may not even keep them. I'm hoping it will, but we're trying to be reasonable about this, but it's just,
Well, I know there's one guy on our EMS, Ralph. His wife is a basic EMT at Pike County. She makes more than he does, and he's a paramedic. And paramedic, you've got over 2 years schooling.
yeah, he makes 1805. She is a basic EMT and Pike County makes 1846, I think it is. And that's our problem.
That's a pathetic.
This is not anything here, there, this is a problem that, and anybody you can get to come.
9 o'clock.
The 9 o'clock is coming
Tuesday morning. 9 o'clock.
And, this is not I need all the help out because, trust me, if you watch the news or anything, this fight's been going on for some time.
Like we need to get all the people we can to be there.
Yeah. Because eventually, it's like he was saying, right now it's affecting one area, but the thing is, the next station that's lowest as far as run volume is Oakland, and Oakland's gonna be shut down, and that's gonna be a precedent for it. And it's just gonna keep going like that if we keep losing people.
Well, I understand what you're saying. I worked for the Gibson County Highway for 36 years. Whenever you leave Princeton, want to go way down by, in Wabash Township, it's a long drive. And if you're going after somebody that's had a heart attack, you're not gonna make it.
I have to think, there's so many areas in this county that's like that. I've worked this county a long time and, you get up toward, Olympus and some of those areas, or you go over here, east of Buckskin over towards, Linville. There are some areas that are just, and you're talking about Crowleyville. I know all these areas well because I hunt, but I also, made runs at all these areas. And so.
You said you're maybe a year ago, when you was trying to get your animal building, and you said
Deaconess wants, they wanna have ambulance here, Deaconess does, you know, so. I don't know, but that is one throw it out there, you know, Deaconess, they kind of wanna get rid of, they wanna, you know, and. Dude, Deaconess think to answer for anything.
Well, the thing is too, I can tell you that people that work for Deaconess. And, I can tell you that the problem is right now, you look at the tri-state area. And I'm just gonna give a hypothetical here, okay? Let's say that it takes 60 people, to cover EMS in this tri-state area. We probably got 45 in the tri-state area, so everybody is short. The problem is if there's several I talked to today, I talked the whole shift today, and I asked them point blank, how many of you guys would be willing to work with these? Because they work, some of them work for them. And I think they would go and find something else. And the problem is, if we go to Deaconess, the only way they're gonna be able to staff it is with the people we have here, because they can't get them from elsewhere. And if we don't treat these people better, we're gonna lose what we've got left. Anyway, that counts. Yeah, he'll be here on Tuesday at 9 o'clock. If any of you guys can come and help, I would appreciate it.
Right.
Mark Fairbacher, 801 Locust Street, or Branch.
Oh.
I don't want to beat a dead horse on this EMS issue, but I disagree with the opinions of the commissioners and the Mr. Pond there about never privatizing. I mean, it may not be something to consider now, it may not be something to consider next year, but maybe 5 years down the road, maybe something you have to consider. Just to automatically take it off the table, I don't think it's open-minded as far as that issue. And another thing to think about, doesn't directly affect commissioners, but like the issues EMS is facing in this county and other counties, your volunteer fire departments are facing the same thing. You know, limited tax dollars, expensive equipment. You have to make hard choices about them, you know, whether to go, you know, professional or, you know, consolidate or whatever. So, you know, running these services is not cheap. And, you know, some hard questions have to be asked, but to take one thing automatically off the table, you know, just like, I know none of you ever want to raise taxes, but that's one issue you never take off the table. I mean, you make that last resort, but as far as privatizing, I think, you know, don't take it off the table. It may have to come to that. Thank you.
Mark, just a rebuttal to that. I think there are many things in life that you should be open-minded about, whether it be, you know, issues dealing with folks needing health care, or maybe your schools, or in this case, EMS services. I mean, you've got to be open-minded. But I think we can say with a pretty good confidence here that we have researched this extensively. And in this particular case, this doesn't involve another time period or 5 years down the road. But what we're saying is, with what research we've done and what we've seen from the privatization of emergency services, that would not be of cost benefit to the county, number one. So if you're a numbers cruncher guy, you don't really care about people, you know, you just care about numbers. No, I'm not saying you are, I'm saying but if you're that kind of a person, which could be the case for a few folks we're dealing with, but if you are that kind of person, it would still not be of cost benefit to us. And Dave might want to elaborate on that some more, but it would not save the county any money. It would cost us more. Then on top of that, what we've looked at from these options in privatization is that not only would it cost the county more to privatize, but it would also undoubtedly lead to a reduction in service. And you know, I mean, you're a smart guy, Purdue educated, right? Am I right? Okay, to help me out here, because I'm really Purdue educated guy. So Purdue guys, you know, anyhow, you know a lot of stuff, and you know that when privatization occurs in industry in different places, A lot of times, we've seen this here a lot here lately. A lot of times, the bottom dollar, not necessarily the service, the bottom dollar is a priority. What I would argue, and this is what I'm gonna argue and leave you with, is that we've done our research here. We know that it would not be of cost benefit to us. Does that make sense? I just want you, and I just want you to be assured as a taxpayer that we have looked into this extensively. It would cost us more to privatize with like a Deaconess or someone like that. We would not have any local, now this is the part that you're gonna be like, we would not have any control locally of that service. And you might say, well, you don't need to have your hands in everything. Well, it sure is nice for us to meet tonight and have this forum and have some say as citizens, right? You would agree? You would agree? You're not gonna go down to Deaconess, Mark, you're not gonna go down to Deaconess and have this forum. It's not gonna happen.
Still have oversight though.
That's all I'm telling you.
If you write it into the.
It will not happen. Deaconess will say, what do you have? Put it in writing, send it to us in an email.
Get on their board.
And they're not effective.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's fine.
So that's my only point.
Just to say that they're a corporate entity, they're not a public,
Yes, they don't have, Mark, they don't have any elected officials on their board that answer to the taxpayers. Right now, we all have to answer to you. And so just, if you would tonight, ponder that and the significance of that, because I think it's extremely important in our democracy, not just county, but across the board. You want representation. You want to be able to hold them accountable. And that's all I'm saying.
It was just a thought I wanted.
Sure, I'm glad you came. I'm glad you said it, and it made us think. It's a good thing. But
I'd like to discuss things on it real quick. I see Denny's side of it. I'm the chief of Park Township Fire Territory. We both have very big townships. Luckily, we have Oakland City just north of us. But what we run into is Oakland City is doing a transfer, or Oakland City is on another run. Fort Branch Medic runs to us. We've had times that we've been on the very southeast end of our township where we're touching on Linville Lake. And we'll be a good 40 minutes to get the medic there. A good 35. They know where they're going.
It'll work out. Take over.
So I see exactly where he's coming from, and I see where Dave's coming from also. I mean, I work with his medics most time on a day-to-day basis, and the only reason I feel like, and I'm sure Dave would at least partly agree with me, we have any medics left in Gibson County is because they live in Gibson County and they love Gibson County.
That's
the
right.
only reason.
That's right.
We've got a lot of really good dedicated people to this county, and that, I just hope that we can work together, because this is not, this is not anybody, any of that against anybody. It's.
And one thing I've had discussions with several medics about, and nothing against the highway department. I mean, driving a dump truck or operating a piece of equipment, that's what I do for a living. But when you think about, you've got these medics working 24-hour shifts, dealing with what I guarantee half of you guys have never saw in your life and don't want to see in your life. I can promise you that they're making the same amount of money as a guy that gets to drive a truck every day. And like I said, nothing against highway department at all. I'm not saying that, their wage is fair. I'm just saying when you look at it apples to apples, it's not apples to apples at all.
Well, not to beat a dead horse, but everyone here tonight heard the numbers from Posey County and Pike County. They all have us beat by $4 an hour. So I don't want you to think we're being extra generous. We're just trying to say, let's play on a fair field here. Let's have the same opportunity to where we can just compete with these folks and try to retain good paramedics. Yes.
One extra thing too, just so you know, we've been, I've not been able to replace all these people, and that's part of our problem. That's why we're in the position we are in. But normally we run around 400 runs a month as a general. This last month it was over 500 runs with a reduced staff. They're just getting ran to death, and they are tired. The other day they told me that one of the shifts, it was out of Princeton, said they had like 2 shifts in a row. They had like 16 runs. Now, a lot of people don't think, well, 16 runs don't sound bad. In a 24-hour period, whenever you're going to Evansville, and those runs are a lot of 80% of the runs probably go to Evansville. You start adding up the time, they had no time to even eat for a 24-hour period. They're just
they're tired.
Mhm.
And so many times they get transfers, go to Indy or down in
Well, we had
Louisville,
one
or, you know,
Go to India last night.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, and that cuts us out of an ambulance.
And
You know, so-
these guys are great guys, they really are, and, you know, a lot of you guys that work with them and stuff, you know how great guys these guys are. We just need to support them, so.
Can I say just one thing? Can I ask you one favor?
Yeah.
You're going by population. I live right on 165. I guarantee you on a weekly basis, so many dadgum emergency vehicles go right by mine. It's 2 blocks from the post office. Just please look at how many runs you're getting from that spot out before you really try to take away from one. So try to. I just ask nicely, please. Don't go by population, do what you can.
Yeah, well, I want to.
There is a lot of emergency vehicles that go by my house. I'm telling you, I live right there.
Yeah.
It's constant. I hear them.
They go.
Let me tell you though,
We'll let them talk.
so you guys know, we actually run the numbers and actually look at this too. But pretty much, to be perfectly honest, so much of the population also with, it's pretty painful. But what I'm saying is, well, let me just tell you, for example. Let me see if I can find it. Of course, you guys probably want to end the meeting.
I think I have the data too. I'm looking it up right now to give Dave the numbers.
I know what I hear. I'm not going by anything, but what I hear.
And they have some good hard data on this.
Yeah, this was something.
Mass fire, whatever it is.
If you guys have been on the Holmesville Connect, one of the girl that does our office numbers, they put this on there the other day and it's correct.
It really is a pretty good graphic. I think you
Yeah,
need,
it's like.
you need to look at it.
It's a pie chart.
It's not.
I mean, it kind of opened my eyes too when I looked at it. I was like, oh, this number runs is going this part of the county. Did you see it, Denny?
It's a pie chart, look at it.
But it still doesn't change the fact that we see where this is going. If we don't get our act
So
together,
it's not as frequent as what.
we don't get the financial support we need.
Well, the thing is, they're going all the time everywhere.
I know, but it's,
Did you find it for him, Dave?
No, I didn't.
that's okay. I just wanted you to get.
I'm looking into it.
Okay. Go ahead, Larry.
I've got one quick comment. We just talked about, why are your people staying here? Why are they staying? You mean, why they're working still? Yes, because this is home. A lot of it, yeah. There's a lot of it's home.
And we're trying to train Toyota workers and these workers and those workers. Is there anything that we can encourage the youth? Are anybody, is there any programs that we can look at as far as encouraging people into this service
Money, well.
from home?
Hey, Dave, we got somebody else over here.
Sure, Chief of Impact Assistance, I help run the Southern Indiana chapter, and we actually got grant money that we put in for to get people EMT certified because of the shortage of 9/11 this last year. And it was so hard to give a free education when we could not find the right people. We had plans to put like at least 6 through, we can only get like 2 that could go through the program, and 1 passed and 1 so far did not. It's really hard to find people who even, I guess, want to do it or whatever, but we are trying also in our little organization with the grant money that we get just to help with that shortage, but it's been hard to find somebody to give money away to get it done.
Well, and see, part of the problem is if you think about it, a lot of people don't really like the idea of going, forget the dramatic stuff of car accidents and stuff. But a lot of people don't want to go and get vomited on. They don't want to deal with somebody that's got diarrhea. I mean, all this stuff is stuff that they have to deal with on a daily basis. And they don't want to deal with that. And then when you throw the fact of, for example, their EMT training takes about 4 months. Then when you throw in, if they take their paramedic, it's 2 years. When you take 2 years of training, and you're making $18.05 an hour, and you can go at any of the plants around here and make more than that, why spend the time doing that? And that's the thing. They're not, I know I talked to Mike here early on, if you remember, Mike, about all this and about the problems that we were seeing. And I had a feeling this was going to come to a head eventually. But it was kind of like nobody was getting that it was really going to come full circle and become a problem. Now it has gotten, I know George has been seeing it with sheriff's department, they're having trouble. And until this stuff's addressed, but.
Dave, here's the data if you want to share it with the group.
I know I've talked to several EMTs, the younger ones. Now, they don't care much about the county insurance.
No, go right ahead. You said.
So they want the money. When it gets a few more years on them, that insurance is gonna be a lot more than that money does. You know.
I've got a few people on our fire department that I've been through EMT training, they've got their EMT certs, and they had, with the goal in mind when they got it, not only be able to help us with the fire department with it, but whether it be work part-time with the service or full-time. And I know of 3 for sure that was their goals. They wanted to work part-time. They had a job where they didn't work 40 hours a week. And when they looked it up to apply and saw the kind of money they've been put the brakes on.
I know it. It just, for a younger person, the money's not there.
I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is a pie chart that our office staff did, just recently. This is showing the amount of run volume. The big red, that's Princeton, North Gibson, okay? The yellow is Fort Branch. Green is Oakland City. And then the blue is Owensville.
Dark.
So it's not dark.
Went dark on it, Dave. I'd like to bring it back. Oh, yeah, okay.
So it's not, I'm not just going by population, we're also looking at numbers of runs. This is, so please understand, but as you can see, Oakland City's not that far behind it. And if we keep going, that's the next place that's gonna be getting shut down. Because we just don't have people. And look at it, see, but that's just the difference in them. So, anyway, that's mine and that.
No, yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, I was.
Kind of paints a picture, right?
Just because I live somewhere here constantly don't mean they're always going somewhere.
All right, guys, if there's nothing else, I think Mike's ready to leave.
Ready to go?
Can I get on?
He keeps pointing at that thing, adjournment.
Can I get home? I'll make that motion.
Hey, the motion's made, I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.